In today's video, guys, I have a super value-packed video. This is going to be exactly showing you and walking you through the strategy that helped us strategize, game plan, and execute on a strategy that took a brand from generating in 2022 $800,000 a year to, in 2023, we put together in January of 2023 a little game plan. Our goal is $5 million in revenue. As of December 2023, we have already passed $6 million in sales. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through that exact game plan that you can start strategizing for your brand in 2024 to start hitting your revenue goals. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this video. As always, all the links to work with us are in the description. If you're interested in working with our agency, or if you're interested in one-on-one coaching in our inner circle, all of those links are in the description. Let's dive in. Okay, guys, so before we go ahead and dive in, let's just get the proof and the pudding out of the way. So like I said, we've helped this brand surpass over $6 million in sales. Yesterday, they generated $66,000. In the last 7 days, generated $390,000. And if I go ahead and pull back January to now, I want to go ahead and show you guys that we have surpassed over $6 million in sales, which is a 600% increase compared to the previous year. As I mentioned, they did around $800,000 in sales last year, and our goal was legitimately $5 million in revenue. I'm going to show you exactly what we thought about to break this down and how we actually achieved and executed on this goal. So without further ado, let's dive into the strategy. Okay, guys, so this was the legitimate strategy that we had built January of 2023, sitting down with the client. We do this with all of our clients, depending on their revenue goals, but we were focusing on really 3 pillars. And in today's video, I'm not going to be walking you through like a Facebook case study. Here's what we did on emails. Here were the results. You guys just saw we've generated over $6 million in revenue so far. In today's video, I'm just going to be walking you through this strategy and how we thought about the year coming up and how you guys should be doing this exact same thing for 2024. So we focused on paid traffic, our conversion rate optimization, our lifetime value in regards to customers for the brand, content, product development and SKUs, and cash flow and capital. And keep in mind, guys, as we go through this presentation, there's going to be some missing information just redacted in terms of, keeping the brand private. So their logos and some certain words and some certain images have been removed, but that doesn't matter, where you guys are still going to get the point. So at the end of the day, what we've done here right off the bat is what we want to do is break down our yearly revenue goal. So whatever this is for you, if it's 5 million, if it's 25 million, if it's 500,000, you still want to go ahead and just figure out these few numbers, right? So your revenue per month, what does that look like over a 12-month period? Daily revenue, email and SMS revenue per month. What's your average daily ad spend going to be looking like? What's your goal cost per acquisition? And what's your goal average order value? Now, you'll notice once I move forward in a couple of these things here that, again, don't always work, where, again, depending on the type of brand that you have, you may have a very high revenue volume in quarter 4 or things like that. And so obviously, things are not going to be the exact same over a 12-month period, but it's worth understanding what your goal looks like broken down. And so, like I mentioned, this brand had done $800,000 in revenue in 2022, and this was our goal coming into 2023, right? So $5 million in revenue approximately. This brand has a very, very big sales window in quarter 4. So you'll notice our quarter 4 target and our quarter 4 budgeting, reflected that, right? So quarter 1, the target was 250K. Quarter 2 was 500,000. Quarter 3 was $1 million, and our goal for quarter 4 was over $2.75 million. We actually ended up surpassing that. I think we've done around like 3.5 already, if I'm not mistaken, in quarter 4, probably a little bit more, actually closer to 4 million, if you can believe it. And Facebook account, hopefully we were aiming for around 20% of the revenue, right? So we were aiming to spend, around $290,000. We ended up blowing this out of the water and scaling quite aggressively, but this is, what happens when it comes to planning. And this is, why it's worth just sort of setting these goals prior, right? These are projections based on our current KPIs. So things ended up changing. We ended up getting a much better cost per acquisition at scale, which allowed us to increase our ad spend dramatically. And at the bottom here, we have our email and SMS accounting for around 23% of tracked revenue. That was in 2022. So if our goal in 2023, that would be around 1.1 million. From emails, we did quite a bit more than that. And so what we wanted to be focusing on is, again, paid traffic, right? And so number one was doubling down, right? We needed to start doubling down on what was currently working for this brand in terms of customer acquisition. Simple scales, fancy fails. So year to date, and again, this was 2022, we had spent $48,000 for this brand, $150,000 return, 3x return on ad spend, $76 cost per acquisition. To give you guys an idea, we're spending around 6 to 7K a day on Facebook right now with a 5x and like a $50 cost per acquisition. So we have scaled dramatically. And Google, as you can see, was around $28,000, a little bit of a better cost per acquisition, but that tends to happen with Google. And you'll notice I say this at the bottom, you'll notice with a much lower CPA on Google, this tends to happen, but very often that's because Facebook is creating that initial touch point and Google is ending up converting people on the back end. And long story short, these platforms piggyback off one another, especially because we're targeting people in so many different places, Facebook, Google, email marketing, etc. It's important for us to be looking at overall CPA and efficiency as opposed to the per platform results individually. And one of the biggest things that we strategized ahead going into 2023 was getting ready to ramp up white labeled advertising. And so if you're not familiar with exactly what this is, I have another video on my YouTube channel about how white label advertising works and how you can set this up. And if I haven't, I definitely got to go ahead and release that. I've definitely dropped something like specifically on this in our case studies, maybe not an entire white labeling video, but essentially this is a strategy that allows us to leverage, much larger audiences as a part of, collabing with people, whether it's on SKUs, etc. And ultimately, like I said, this allows us to leverage reach of an audience, trust of an audience. It results in lower cost per acquisitions and a much higher click-through rate. And utilizing white label ads were very, very, very important to this brand, especially from a paid advertising result. Clear KPIs. Again, this is something that we sit down with the brand to strategize and we're handing off to them, right? And so as we take a look at taking this brand seriously, right, they were doing $800,000 a year. We wanted to take things to the next level. We need absolute clarity around these 4 KPIs, in my opinion, right? Maximum cost per acquisition, maximum marketing efficiency ratio. So how much are we willing to spend any given month, depending on the numbers, goal cost per acquisition, and our goal average order value. And understanding these numbers allows our team on the marketing side to pivot and make decisions, whether it's from paid ads or conversion rate optimization standpoint, etc. Then from a conversion rate optimization standpoint, our main goals were just improve average order value, improve conversion rate over a year. And this can obviously be done through a multitude of ways using average order value improvements, right? So post-purchase upsells, optimizing the cart, product page upsells, price adjustments, free shipping barriers, bundle testing, R&D, new upsells, etc. Conversion rates, improvement tests, right? So focusing on just like better customer experience. And then what do actually people want? Right, so starting to send surveys to loyal customers as this brand was starting to grow, right? Over $800,000 in revenue. They had a few customers, people who have purchased more than 2 times. We could start actually involving them in the brand, building more of a connection with these people. And then essentially, I'm not going to run through all this, guys. I will actually drop this PDF in the description, but this is going to be allowing you to see just like some of the examples that we were looking at, like, hey, here's a great idea for creating value-driven bundles. Or as I would have mentioned, guys, I've removed specifically the brand that we're working with as far as the products, but I'm giving examples here on the progress bar, on in-cart upsells. I'm giving examples on the checkout page, post-purchase upsells, what they should be focusing on in terms of homepage improvements, conversion rate optimization for navigation menus, collection pages, product pages. That's all to say. But the other thing to focus on here, guys, is our focus on increasing LTV, right? So there's obviously many ways that we can scale, focusing on acquiring new customers. We can focusing on making those customers worth more to us, or we can focus on, increasing the lifetime value of our customer. And you'll notice I wrote with a phone case here. This was actually not for a phone case company, but we were looking at multiple ways to do this. And the ways that we've written here just very briefly are pricing discounts, new SKUs and design, products, new product launches, continuing to double down on retention marketing, so email and SMS, affiliate marketing, focus on our reason for retention, right? Do not just expect it. Our reason is design, innovation, FOMO, right? And that's how we were getting people back. As far as content, what we were planning at the beginning of the year is just communicating to the brand the types of content that we're going to be needing moving forward, especially as we focus on scaling our customer acquisition efforts to the moon. We're going to be needing user-generated content, lifestyle content, product content, organic content, white label, and influencer content are included here as well. And then obviously just the types of content, right? Because we're communicating with this from a strategy standpoint. So they need to understand, they need to provide us with single images, videos, GIFs, carousels, dynamic product ads, and that's kind of going to get into the advertising side, but I want you guys to understand what we were looking at beginning of 2023 to strategize, work our way backwards, because I could break down, and maybe I will. I'm going to show you guys a case study exactly of how we took this brand from 800,000 over, $6 million in revenue. And I'll definitely put that into a case study. And then in there, we can take a look at the Facebook results, the email results, how we actually drove these types of results. But ultimately, this is what we were looking at prior to the actual year of implementing. Then guys, we're taking a look at product development and SKUs, so collaboration and scarcity. 2023 goals, we were looking at a lot of limited edition drops, right? So collaborating with different influencers and brands to drop low minimum order quantity collabs, right? Building scarcity, building a lot of drops. That helped extremely well because the FOMO that we quickly created with these new brands allowed us to, when we restocked these products, have restocks that performed 2 to 3x higher than the actual launch. And this strategy alone, plus focusing on community building, like I said, with the VIPs and asking exclusive customers what they want, allowed us to, build up a lot of cash and a lot of influxes of cash during these restocks. And then at the beginning of 2023, this may not even be applicable anymore because I believe like Divi, some of these things may not have went under. Parker, I think there's an issue with that. Last one of these that might be an issue. But essentially what we were looking at here is just like giving them options in terms of financial tech stacks to be taking a look at as we're going to be scaling ad spend. As of 2022, give me an example, if we spend 300,000 in November, we would gain 900,000 points, MX points for them. So these were things I wanted them to think about. Very, but simply that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to drop that PDF in the description below. This just goes to show, this was not like some insane strategy. Again, I wasn't really like breaking down what we did on the Facebook side or the email side, etc. But the point is, I want you guys to see that, again, when strategized correctly, it really is possible to take a brand from generating as little as $800,000 a year to scaling to over $6 million within a single calendar year. And these are the things that we focused on. So as always, guys, I would really appreciate if you would drop a like, subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm, making sure that these videos get pushed to the right people. As always, if you're interested in working with our team, all of the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.